Poppin'.
Poppin', let's go. What up? It's your boy Louis St. Rose in the flesh. I'm an artist from Burnaby, BC. I started making music when I was like about 13 or 14, just freestyling with the homies. From there, I kind of developed just like a love for music and sound. I grew up around like music as well. My dad's a musician as well, so he's a classical Brazilian guitarist. So when I was growing up as a kid, it was always like music around the house, and I didn't even really understand the influence that had on me. There was a long time in my life where I didn't think that I had a musical bone in my body at all. But as time went on, it kind of got harder and harder for me to deny that and to push it aside. And then I found myself totally enveloped in it, and I breathe it. It's everything that I have. I find that a lot of my music I make for myself, because it's therapy to me. My biggest hope with all of the music is that somebody else listens to it and, you know, is inspired by it. Not even necessarily like inspired by it. If they feel something from the music that I make, that's what I'm doing this for. That's what drives pretty much everything with the music at this point.
I don't know shit, bitch, my face on poker. Baby face, how a nigga soul staying sober. See y'all niggas later so long, nice to know ya. Just don't fucking dab me when you circle back.
I'm not a very stationary person. Like I like experience. So I'm always chasing like that next thing, where the next place is gonna be. And at this point, I don't even really know where that's gonna be. Wherever life takes me, I think is the best answer to that. Kind of how I ended up in Montreal, because like I'm a Vancouver born artist, and I built my entire foundation of music and network of creativity back home in Vancouver. I love the city. Like the city is what made me, and there's so many amazing artists and people there as well. But I kind of just had to get away from that scene a little bit. I found myself kind of wrapped up doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing, and trying to be somebody that I wasn't. That's kind of where like the first album comes from as well. The pinnacle of that music was like the darkest point of my life, and so all of that music that's about to come out now is symbolic of that. But through kind of escaping that environment and just changing my surroundings, I was able to see an entirely different side of Louis St. Rose, an entirely different side of myself. That's kind of what's driving the music right now. I'm being helped through my music to understand more about myself. And moving to like Ottawa from Vancouver, I got to tap in with a bunch of creatives there who are super influential in what I'm doing right now. I think that, you know, if you have the chance to change your environment and just kind of broaden your horizon on life, definitely take that. It's a really scary thing to do. It takes a lot of guts, but you'll thank yourself for it after, just because of the perspective that you gain, you know?
Stay on my creep, don't get no sleep, Nigga, fuck you and me, Nigga, got what you need, Give it to me, Stay on my creep,
Musical influences for the album, pretty much me. I think I'm my main influence for the album. Album's called Rosekilledcaio, and that album was like raw and authentic and really me in that period of time in my life. That's definitely not somebody who I am right now, but that music was me at that time, and hopefully that music helped somebody. During that time in my life, I was listening to a lot of T9, a lot of like drill artists from the States, but I think in my flows and my cadences, a lot of that influence definitely comes from like Joey Badass, your Kendricks, Rocky as well, for sure. Just in the cadences and the flows and that sort of thing.
Stay on my pivot and paranoid. Feel like a scary boy. Can't sleep a wink. Stay up smoking a drink.
Like I was saying, like that album is very symbolic of a dark time in my life where I really felt like my morals and a lot of the things that I hold true to myself, I let go of, because I was really just angry at the world. I was angry at a lot of the like injustice that I've experienced in my life. And I think that as boys, as men, we're really taught to not show those emotions, not be emotional, not show weakness, and to hold it all inside of you. And I think that this album is what happens when you hold all of that in for so long until it ultimately just explodes. That moment right there was when this album came to be, was when I couldn't contain all of the resentment, all of the anger, all of the pain and sadness that I had inside myself, and I just kind of let it all go. And I stopped caring about me as a person. I stopped caring about Caio. In that moment, I really felt like my alter ego, if you will, kind of took over, and I was like, I'm not gonna be stepped on anymore. I'm not gonna be seen as vulnerable or seen as weak. Like, I'm gonna be this hard person. And that kind of development, that hardening of my shell, like, that was a gradual thing. But when that music came to be, that was when I like had completed my like suit of armor, if you will. You couldn't get to me, you couldn't talk to me, you couldn't tell me shit about anything that I was doing. And subconsciously I knew a lot of those things were wrong. I was raised better than a lot of the stuff that I did in that time period of my life, but I just stopped caring. And I think that's where that music came from. When you can't hold that inside anymore, you just let it out. Rosekilledcaio is symbolic of that. Everything forward from that has been me trying to rediscover who Caio is. I'm very familiar with like who Rose is, but I'm not so sure like who Caio is, and that's like what I'm trying to discover. And like the artist name, like Louis Saint Rose, Louis is my middle name. Saint is the way I like to carry myself. I like to be that positive influence for other people. I like to, give people hope and reassurance for what they're going through, and just let them know that like, they can do whatever they want to do, they just have to stick to it. And then Rose is like the alter ego. Rose is like when I get angry, when I get violent, that's who that is. That album is really it's just raw energy. I want the listener to hear that, and if they're having a really shitty day, like they're pissed off, like it's like problems with like work or family, money, anything, like if you're going through it and you hear that album, I want that to just be like a release where like for like those 2 minutes where you listen to one of the songs off of the album, you kind of just forget about all that shit, and you're just like, you're feeling that empowerment, you're feeling that like, might even be anger that you're feeling, but you're not thinking about all of the problems that you're going through in that moment. You're just soaking in the music and allowing that to just change the course of your day.